You ever get that feeling, walking into a new place, like everyone's eyes are on you not because they're curious, but because they're sizing you up? Yeah, that was me on my first day at Northwood High, 15 years old, all elbows and knees, wishing I could fold myself small enough to disappear behind my own locker. If you think being the new kid is bad, try being a tall, skinny new kid who looks like he'd snap in a strong breeze. It's a real treat, let me tell you. Now, there are all kinds of bullies, the ones who just call you names, and the ones who really mean it. David Miller was the king of Northwood's sophomore jungle, built like a linebacker with the ego to match, and he zeroed in on me like I was a walking invitation for trouble. Behind him, always, were his two trusty sidekicks, Jake, tall and sly, and Tom, thick-set and mean, looking for any excuse to laugh at someone else's expense. That's high school for you, right? You know what I mean? The first few weeks, I tried the classic move blend in, keep my head down, get through the day. Didn't work. David started calling me String Bean, like he was auditioning for a sitcom nobody wanted to watch. Most days, I just waited till the hall was clear before leaving class, hoping I could slink away unnoticed. Didn't matter. David always found a way. One day, he slammed his hand down on my desk and leans in, "Hey, String Bean, waiting for everyone to leave so you don't snap in half." I wanted to laugh, honestly. The guy thought he was clever. I just muttered something about getting my stuff and tried to slide past. No dice. Jake blocked my way, and Tom gave me that look like, "Go ahead, try something." Teachers? Mr. Peterson was there, but you know how it is, a few words, a fake smile, and bullies go right back to their routine once the grown-ups look away. "We'll finish this at lunch," David whispered, and they disappeared. I rubbed my shoulder. That was new. Another bruise to add to the collection. Here's the part nobody guessed about me. I'd spent most of my life on a mat, learning Brazilian jiu-jitsu with my dad, who used to be an MMA fighter before a bad concussion ended his career. He was big on discipline, fighting only for self-defense, never to start something, and never, ever in school. That was the rule. After all the moving around for my mom's job, with her finally getting the gig she wanted at the hospital here, I figured why risk it? So I let the taunts and shoves go. I figure I could take it. I figure wrong. Cafeteria, Northwood High. That where you really see the food chain athletes and popular kids in the middle, everyone else orbiting on the edges. I sat alone, every day, in the row, head down. That day, I felt the trip coming before it happened. Tom's foot hooked around my ankle, and I went sprawling, lunch tray crashing, sandwich splattering. Laughter erupted, echoing off the cheap tile, and for a second I just sat there, knees smarting, face burning, wishing the ground would swallow me whole. "Oops," Tom grinned, high-fiving David. "Looks like the string bean's broken again." I picked up my food in silence. Nobody helped. Nobody even looked my way except maybe for one person. That was the first time I noticed Sophia. She was quiet, sharp-eyed, always reading in the corner, watching everything. She didn't say anything, not then, but I saw her watching me pick up my lunch, and for some reason, that made it a little less awful. Fast forward into the day, I'm in my locker, just trying to get out before the wolves circle again. No such luck. Leaving so soon, String Bean. David leaned in, Jake and Tom flanking him, ready for another round. They started pulling my backpack open, dropping books on the floor, acting like I didn't exist. "What are you going to do about it, new kid?" David sneered, holding my math textbook out of reach. I felt my fist clench, my mind running through every move I'd ever practiced, but I remembered my promise: only defend, never attack unless I had no other choice. So I let it go. They walked away, and I knelt down to pick up my stuff. That's when Sophia appeared right next to me, out of nowhere. "Those guys are jerks," she said, handing me a notebook. "You know, they only pick on you because you don't fight back." I almost laughed. "It's complicated." She shrugged. "If you ever want to sit with someone, I'm usually in the back during study hall. A small thing, but sometimes that's all you need." Weekends are different. On the mat, helping at my dad's gym, I felt like myself, strong, in control, no targets on my back. Dad watched me spar and noticed my mind wasn't there. "Remember," he said, "martial arts is about discipline. Self-defense doesn't just mean when someone's throwing punches. Sometimes it's standing up for yourself in other ways." Easy for him to say. Monday came, as Mondays do, and so did David and his crew, right at the door, already starting up. We still don't know if you can swim, string bean, Jake joked, and before I knew it, they were dragging me up to the third-floor bathroom, the kind of place where bad stuff happens because no one's around. They shoved me inside, blocked the door, and started in about initiations. I tried to talk to back them down, but they rushed me, pinned my arms, forced me toward a stall. It got real fast. They held me down. David grabbed the toilet, started talking about getting my head wet. That's when I panicked. Tom covered my mouth. Jake pinned my arms. David lifted the seat and then wrapped his arm around my neck, squeezing in a sloppy, rear-naked choke. I knew the move. I'd done it 1,000 times, but not like this, not with fear, not with someone trying to show off. My vision blurred, black spots swarmed. I thrashed and kicked, but couldn't get free. Just before I blacked out, I heard Jake say, "Dude, I think he's passing out." Then nothing. When I came to, I was on the floor, throat burning, head pounding. I heard voices, Tom, panicking about what they'd done, Jake wanting to bail, David trying to sound tough, but he was shaking. Something snapped inside me right then. This wasn't just bullying, this was assault. This was the moment Dad meant when he said self-defense. I got up slow, feeling something settle in my chest, cold, calm, focused. "You choked me out," I said, and even David looked nervous. "You could have killed me." They started backing away, trying to joke it off. I didn't let them. "There's a right way and a wrong way to do that," I said, stepping forward, showing no fear. And then, without thinking, I took Jake down with a perfect double leg, pinned him, let him feel what real control looks like. Tom and David froze. "Back off," I said, my voice steady, and for once they did. David tried to front, asked if I was some kind of karate kid. "Brazilian jiu-jitsu," I told him, "brown belt." They stared. "My dad's an MMA fighter. I've been training since I was 7. I could have fought back all along. I just chose not to until now." When David tried to come at me, I swept him off his feet, let him crash into the sinks, not hard, just enough to make my point. Then I showed them not by hurting them, but by letting them see the skill, the control. "I could do this all day," I said, and I meant it. That's when the vice principal, Mr. Thompson, walked in, saw the scene, me standing calm, the three of them looking wrecked. "What's going on?" he asked. David just mumbled, "Nothing, sir." We all left together, but they knew things had changed. Word spread like wildfire, the way it always does. Some people said I beat them all up. Others started whispering I was a secret Fight Club champ. The truth didn't matter. For the first time, people noticed me for something other than being the skinny new kid. "Sophia, save me a seat at lunch." "So it's true?" she asked. "Not exactly," I said, "but close enough." Even David, by the end of the week, came up to me without his buddy's hands open, voice real for once. "We went too far," he said. "That choke was messed up." For a second, I thought about everything he'd put me through, all the humiliation, the pain. But I shook his hand anyway. "Clean slate," I said. "You got to choose who you're going to be, you know?" As I walked out that Friday, Sophia at my side, sun shining, I realized everything had changed, not because I finally fought back, but because I chose how. The bullies left me alone. The loneliness faded. Turns out, real strength isn't about beating someone down, it's about knowing you can, but choosing to stand tall, to own your worth, to defend yourself without losing who you are. That's what my dad tried to teach me all along. So now I'm curious, what would you have done? Is there a line you wouldn't let someone cross, even if it meant risking everything? Tell me where you stand about bullies, about fighting back, about what real justice looks like. I'm ready to hear it.